What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games B.S. Oh, damn, my bad, Miles. They got me connected to your Roku for the YouTube. Or it was trying to get me to do it. What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games B.S, part of Den Media Group, presented by MFTK Foundation. We'll get into that a little bit later. Get into that more now that my high school football season is officially done, even though it's been done for a little bit. We'll get into that in a second with this with our MFTK segment. We're going to add a part to the FSU thing because there was some stuff that got out that isn't. It lacks extreme context because there's no checking sources and to see stuff. But it's a combination between the article that got dropped in July about FSU and the NIL and the NIL contracts. But I did some digging and I did some research and I talked to some people who were going through a lot of these different things. But some of the I actually respect Kelvin from Chop Chat. Kelvin, from what I understand, he might have actually didn't read his article, but I do know Doc Staples released something, and he released it on his podcast, and he talked about it in depth. But I think there was just some context missing, and I think it was salacious if you write it that way. I think it's not as salacious when you actually write it down and you talk about it as an elite athlete. So we're gonna get into that here in a little bit. Also with FSU season being over, also with losing to University of Florida, and a lot of coaching searches and a lot of things that have gone down. And it's why you need context, because the only thing that's consistent is the inconsistencies of the consistencies. And those are all things that we want to discuss, because I think at the end of the day, I think we got to get rid of this love and hip hop mentality. So there's some things that I think we want to get into those things. But before we get into the different things going on with the MFTK Foundation that brings us this show and other things, let's go ahead and start our day off with a word of prayer.
You already know what time it is, dog. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God. God is great. All the time. All the time. Nobody wanna thank you, God. Thank you, God.
You heard that, man. He said, y'all motherfuckers better thank God. So let's go. Jaden, what this outside of the things that I added to it, let's go ahead and discuss what we're going to discuss so we can give the people a preview.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a morning edition of Big Games BS here on Monday, December 1st. This is your first time at the show. Welcome. And if you're wondering why it's called Big Games BS, it's because we bring the good, the bad, and the BS of the sports world, especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. We're going to start off with some MFTK for you guys, our MFTK segment. And then we are going to kick that segment off with some high school showcases to talk about. And then we also have the Mandarin U game to discuss as well. So we're going to talk about that game. And then we're going to talk about the Florida State loss to the Gators, kicking off our college football segment. And then we have a carousel of head coaches to discuss, even a general manager, as well as looking at the conference championship games. Before getting into our NFL segment, we're going to start off with the home team, Jacksonville Jaguars, and their AFC division rivalry win against the Tennessee Titans yesterday, and then talk about the Black Friday football games and the rest of the more notable games that happened yesterday before getting into our big games BS section of the day, where we have our conversations outside the typical football world, have our food review, BS or busting topic, and then a YN Wyland segment, or excuse me, topic to close out the day. But first things first, we have the MFTK showcase to discuss. My bad if I cut out, but here is the post right here from James's Twitter account. This was his pinned tweet right here in case you guys are looking for it.
Yeah, we got a good amount of quarterbacks that are going to be coming out to compete on December 20th. Locations to be determined. Hopefully, we'll have that up here very soon. But we got Aiden Pfeiffer, quarterback from Ponte Vedra, Florida, numerous offers. Knox Annis, 25 offers. Jonah Bedford, who will probably be the new signal caller for Tallahassee Lincoln, the big school in Tallahassee. We've also got King Bloistein. I hope I said Kyle's son's name, but King is the signal caller at Ed White. We've got about a couple other guys. And what's crazy is my 14U dogs said they want more work. They're going to the showcase, the high school showcase, to try to put on for the 15U. So we'll also have Division II schools there. If I get into this one location, we will probably have a private workout for any 2026 that does not have the offers that they want. So they'll be able to come before all of that, be able to see by that. But even with some of these kids that come to the showcase, it's not about making the 7-on-7 team. It's about showcasing your skills and talents in front of college coaches. You could potentially walk away with an offer, or at least you will be seen and evaluated by college scouts. So Central State will be there. Savannah State will be there. I'm working on Albany State. They're kind of playing right now, still competing for a D2 national championship, as well as hopefully Edward Waters. Hopefully that's where I'm really hoping to host the showcase at. I'm really crossing my fingers to be able to be there. But we are going to hopefully have about 100 to 200 of the top athletes in the Southeast. As far as North Carolina, as far north as North Carolina, as far west as Louisiana, as far south as Homestead. So we got it all over the place. Come into Jacksonville, because Jacksonville is a place where people need to come and see people get recruited. It is a big time deal. It is there. You don't have to go to Charlotte. You don't have to go to Atlanta. You don't have to go to Orlando. MFTK is going to make it to where Jacksonville is a hub and a hotbed for people to be able to come and get recruited. We're starting off with football, but with the foundation, if you got other sports that you're good at, man, come on. I just don't know how to teach kids how to dribble and shoot. But we got lacrosse in there. We got other sports. We will be a hotbed here in Jacksonville, Florida. So that's the showcase. And if you want to donate to get a kid there, mftkfoundation.com. $25 is for the showcase. They get gear, they get swag. There are all kinds of opportunities to donate for kids with the MFTK Foundation. I guess this is me. You want Jade? I don't know if you're muted, right?
Oh, my bad. I was just about to say, speaking of the donations, this is something else you wanted to touch on too, James, because it is a very good and seems like one of a kind opportunity right here.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy Baron with Pylon. We're going to be making some announcements here with MFTK 7-on-7 and a partnership with Pylon. But the first one we're going to try to do is I want to take an entire team to Tokyo, Japan with me. So that's about not an entire team, but 15 kids. That's enough for us to be able to do what we need to do. Have them go international for a couple of days, run around and compete with some Japanese people. And just, that's what we're going to do. Pylon is having their first international showcase as the sport of football is growing. USA Football will be a part of it. I want nobody else is doing that in this area where we are bringing young men internationally to be able to showcase their deals. Let's see, there's some places that go to Puerto Rico, but I know what y'all think. It's not international. Puerto Rico's America, guys. I know everybody. I know everybody's mad that Bad Bunny is out here going to do the Super Bowl, but Bad Bunny's American. I just want y'all to realize that. Tokyo is international. We're going to make it a cultural trip. There'll be some other different things that we're going to do. It's about $20,000 to get 15 guys. I'm not including my own self getting there. I'm going to pay my own way because I'm not going to ride coach. Or whatever. Yeah, that's coach, right? Is when in Gym Pop, when you're in the back. Yeah, I'm getting business. I'm entirely too fucking big to be sitting up in there like that. But I was looking at the plane tickets. Between the plane tickets for 15 kids and the housing accommodations and feeding these little Negroes and coloreds and whites, it's going to be about $20,000. So we're doing some really, really big things. I've identified a few kids that I want to ask, but at the showcase, all I'm saying is if your kid comes to the showcase, hopefully they have a passport. If not, we'll do some rush my passport things so that we can be able to work with them to get what they need to get. We want to take a good squad of 15 kids. It might be more local guys that I've already identified that we can go do this trip for. But if you're thinking about it, if you have some money laying to the side, again, mftkfoundation.com is where you go to, and we will make sure those things are good and going.
James, the Mustang season is over. The horses are in the stable, man. So, Mustangs lost 27-20 to the Buchholz Bobcats in the regional championship. So, James, tell me what happened to the
the running backs
Mustangs.
coach has been suspended for the last 2 games.
I wonder who that is.
The coach is he broke a rule. And the rule is, and there's no gray area in it. And I'm going to wait to really fully get into it, but I haven't coached the last 2 games and I didn't do any of the game plan. So I watched the stream just like everybody else on Sports Den Live. Make sure you tune in this Friday because we will be streaming the Sarasota Booker T. Washington playing against William M. Raines. We will have that game live on Den Media Group on Friday. So check that out. Make sure you guys check that out. It came down to Buchholz had a great atmosphere. What it seemed like they played a much more physical game. They confused our offensive line in the beginning, and once we really got everything going, we came back. We were winning, and what's interesting is they were able to get the ball in the hand. They just said skip all the other things and they put the ball in the hands of their playmaker. And they have a young man, number 13, that's committed to the University of Florida that is a baller. And he just made plays and our defense just ran out of gas. And there's some things that I always try to tell athletes, and I tell young people, do not be in a rush to grow up. Be a child, understand what your situation is. And we had some internal conflict. Our first game against Crestview, for people who don't know, we rushed for like 350 yards and we ran for 13. We threw for 13 yards. That's very low. And oh my God, we were so upset. We played pace. In Pensacola pace, we were very balanced. I think we had almost 600 yards of total offense in a shootout where pace just literally ran the ball down our throat. Our weakness has been the running game. We got to get better at that. We've got to become more balanced when it comes to that. You also got to, but our quarterback was very confident. You have to take every game the way it goes. You have to take what they're giving you. You have to listen to the people who are actually there with you every day in every situation that know you probably more than the person who mentors you, but they only see you for an hour a day. So I say these things to say that we tried to go back and throw the ball, but we just weren't ready, and he wasn't seeing the field very well. And our running game is our running game is consistent. We'll fix some of those things in the offseason. We have a very talented group of kids that are coming back. And at the end of the day, you know what I would have done when we won that state championship if we would have won it this year? It'd just be another ring that I would never wear. The goal is, and the reason why we're called Mandarin University isn't because of the championships. Like, everybody likes to troll a winner. There's no sympathy for winners. I see the trolls. I see all of the other things. One guy, Purdy Purr, shout out to him and his love for William and Reigns. First thing he does is post this thing. Bitch, if we play Bishop Kenny, I can imagine if we got to play 3 local teams. And we, in our region, we're 6. So in 6A, we it's number 2 team in the state, one. And in 6A, Gainesville Buchholz was we were, it's a Gainesville Buchholz was number 1 in 6A, if I believe. We were like number 3. Oakleaf was ranked top 10. Nice was ranked top 10. Pensacola Pace was top. We had 6 teams in general in the top 10 in 6A that were in our region. That's crazy to have to go through just to get out, just to get the opportunity to play in the state championship game. We had a brutal run. We still lost. We still lost a game that we should have won. And I really believe that if I were there, some things would have changed. But apparently I'm a fucking menace to society. So, you know, we'll work on those things, and Mandarin will be right back in the thick of things, still putting a bunch of kids in college, still doing a lot of stuff, and not just putting kids in college, putting kids in college that are prepared to play. So that's the difference. Our quarterback is a sophomore, and he's also one of the top area throwers. He is fine. Knox will be cool. Knox is young. He's a young gunslinger, and he'll be fine. Everybody needs to go to the lab, and they'll be great. So it's unfortunate. People lose every day, but that's why you make it. Everybody at that point is pretty decent. So helmets to the left, shoulder pass to the right. Basketball practice tonight at 6. It's one of the it's one of the worst things that can be said to you, but it happens to us. So again, if people troll because you're good, if we were asked, nobody would troll. But I really want to dig more into that, but I can't. I just don't feel comfortable digging more into that because it is a rule that I broke, but it's a silly rule nonetheless. But apparently my platform offends people and it scares people, which just means that it's really, really effective. And it's going, and my goal is to offend more people. So, yeah.
You might be offending somebody in FSU football next, James, because we have the game to discuss. The rivalry ended up with a Florida State loss on our schedule. We were not bowl eligible. We had 5 wins, needed 1 more, but Seminoles walked away with the loss, resulting in a 5-7 season, another winless season having played their away games. We have not won an away game this season and last season as well, but let's take a look at the box score from the game. So, TC said he played one of his best games of his career here at Florida State tonight after the game. So, he went 17 of 28, 240 yards, 8.6 average per completion, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. DJ Lagway went 15 of 24, threw for 168 yards, averaged 7 yards per completion, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. But the star of the show was the Florida underclassman running back Jaden Baugh, breaking all sorts of records during this game. He eclipsed 1,000 yards for the season during this game, and he did that in under 200 carries as well. But in this game, he had 38 carries for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, averaging 7 yards a carry for the Gators. And TC led the Seminoles in rushing with his 19 carries and 77 yards and got a rushing touchdown out of it as well. Got a nice little after contact run for that rushing touchdown. But our next leading rusher was Usman Chroma. He only got 5 carries for 27 yards on the day. You see, we got a lot of people getting some carries on the day. For the receiving end, you had LaWayne McCoy, 6 receptions, 117 yards for the Seminoles, and got a touchdown out of it as well. Deuce Robinson did not get a triple-digit day, but has a high average with 17.7 with his 3 receptions for 53 yards. And Makai Danzy had a big body finishing through contact touchdown, 4 receptions, 49 yards. And then you have only one receiving touchdown from number 9. Then you also had Hayden Hansen and Tony Livingston as well, getting you that. So you had TC fumbling twice, but losing one of those fumbles. Stephon Thompson led the way for the Florida State defense, and Miles Graham, he is a problem, led the Florida defense in tackles, tying Bryce Thornton as well. So let's take a look at this as well, the team stats. So the Gators had 3 more first downs than the Seminoles. Gators went 6 of 13 on third down, while the Seminoles went 5 of 12. Seminoles went 50% on fourth down conversions, while the Gators were 2 for 2. Gators had 33 more yards than us, and we had 240 passing yards compared to 168, but they had 105 more rushing yards than us, average of 6 yards per rush. And they even got more penalties throughout this game, 5 penalties resulting in 45 lost yards. But we had 1 more turnover than them, and we had 9 less minutes of time of possession than the Florida Gators. A little long-winded. Sorry about that. Just wanted to give everybody the rundown. But James, that run was that
I
run
love
game, man.
great running back play. It reminded me of where I was at 4 years ago. I was talking to my boy Juice, and we were at my cigar lounge watching the last time that Florida State decided to lose to an interim coach, and a running back decided to make money off of feasting on Florida State. Can't even think of the young man's name, but he had that run when his helmet came off. It was just amazing. It's just very violent. I love that shit. But Ball, I even tweeted out Ball game. What Ball did tonight, who's number, is that Wilson, number 19 for us? I remember my son said something very pointed in the practice that Florida State had here in Jacksonville. And he was like, number 19 is not that good of a guy. And I was like, damn, son. And then CJ Wilson, my little bro, said, that's supposed to be one of our best corners. Well, that motherfucker can cover a little bit sometimes, but what he cannot do is tackle. I don't know what he said to Ball, but it reminded me of a Boondocks quote. And I started thinking to myself, damn, what did he say to make the N-word that mad? And he won one of the plays that stood out to me. He engaged with 19, and 19 completely spun around and essentially became a lead blocker for Ball, which is never a good thing for defense. Some of these stats bother me to a point where, because they're wasted stats. They're selfish stats. I've spoke about this throughout the weeks. I don't want my quarterback leading my team in rushing consistently. Maybe in yards, because you could break a long run. He's explosive. I don't want him leading in attempts. That's not a good sign. That means we didn't call that many designed runs. for TC. That's a 19. That's not your job. The root, in the comments on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, you got to get over to the YouTube because we don't answer comments on Facebook. We just got back on Facebook. I appreciate you watching any way you want to watch. For on Twitter, we don't answer the comments on Twitter unless you're somebody that I really, really know and I rock with, like Crow gets a little bit of grace. But we need you to come over to YouTube. We get paid on YouTube. YouTube is monetized. We do a lot more. But here's the thing. In the comments, I always say this. What is the root word of running back? What is the root word in running back? If you understand the comments, just go ahead and say that because I think sometimes we get so complicated that we forget that football is a very simple sport made complicated by people who never played it or people who feel the need to be the smartest man in the room. The root word of running back is run. That's who's supposed to run. I don't really know what quarterback mean. I know Toby talked about it earlier this year or something, but quarterbacks need a quarter. And I don't know if quarter means throw in back in the day, but that's what they do. And he ain't doing the greatest job of reading that. His 240 yards come from finally recognizing that LeMoyne McCoy is actually a really freaking good receiver. Deuce Robinson making some incredible catches. And Mekhi Danzey making that touchdown because he's an incredible athlete that used to be a running back that is an explosive wide receiver. There is absolutely no way. And it reminded me of the Mandarin game against Gainesville Buchholz. Somehow there is a cloud over this to where we just don't want to consistently attack the middle. Or we cannot hit the wide receiver in the middle of the field with the seams. Attack the seams when you have that much speed. It ain't even chess, bro. It's checkers with some of these matchups. So, but I saw a stat that really alarmed me the most. Now, Gus has made an incredible turnaround for what this team was a year ago to where they are at now. I think it was we are tied for 83rd in the nation. It's probably worse now for red zone scoring. That means we are getting in position to be able to win games and dominate, but you cannot finish the drill. That is a mindset. When I look at the stats of Thomas Castellanos, and it's not an attack on that young man's character, but he is a selfish football player. For him to be able to say that we went out with a bang, for him to be able to say that this is the best game I've had in a losing effort, who the fuck cares? That is not your job to have the ball, have 19 carries and was it 30? Was it 17 for 25? Is that what it was? 17 for 28? That is not your job to have that stat line, especially when you have Osama bin running and you got a young man in Sam Singleton who has done nothing but consistently been good. It is 4th and 1. It is short yardage situations. I am not going zone read with my quarterback unless he's really going to hit the hole and get me to 1 yard. So many times we went for it on 4th down and got stuck because we're playing cute football. Get out of that mindset. Get out of the cute football mindset. Going to the defense, the same thing. Cute football mindset. There is absolutely no way that they are going and doing what Mickey Andrews and what the Mark Stoops and what a lot of these guys used to do. There was an account. This is why I told you guys it was not Adam Fuller. Adam Fuller at least had them boys in position to be able to make plays. Them boys were in position to make plays. They just did not make the plays. Now they're not in a position to make plays, nor do they make plays. It is no way you look at this and you're saying like, oh my God, we're so much like statistically we may be better, but like when I'm looking at this, Adam Fuller was supposed to be not employee of the year, assistant of the year. If you look at who the assistant of the year who won, I think it was the current Michigan head coach won it that year. Or no, my bad, it was LSU's OC won it that year. And Adam Fuller was the only person to stop him in consecutive years. I think 2 of the people who are on the top 5 finalist list, Adam Fuller put in a blender. you changed the defense up and you brought in people, especially in the passing game, in the secondary. Even though DJ Lagway only threw for 168 yards, there were a lot of drop passes. There were a lot of open targets. That defensive secondary scheme has more holes in it than a 30-year-old pair of draws. And the mentality and the bite is just lacking severely. Them boys would be running a track meet, even though the season's over. They be out there today. There are 8 things that you had. You had 8 gassers every game, and you had different targets that could get you to cut those gassers down to where you had 0 if you played a perfect game. Hold a team to under 300 yards. They definitely running for that. I think it was hold them under 150 yards rushing. They definitely running for that shit. They wouldn't run one for holding them under 200 yards passing. It was if they don't score under 14 points. There was a lot of different things, but one of the things that made it even better, and I remember talking to Adam Fuller about this when they first got to Florida State, and I told him how I said Mickey did discipline. So if you can make the play and still be wrong with Mickey Andrews. That is how much of a stickler for discipline he was. Imagine making the play and being wrong at the same time. I remember Peter Bulwer and Andre Wadsworth and them used to say when they used to go get sacks, they would just go and they knew they were going to have to run for it, but they knew sacks was what was going to get them in the NFL. So they were willing to run in order to get that. So it was a loaf, missed assignment, and missed tackles. You can run, in theory, you can run 8 gassers and have a loaf, MA, and a missed tackle on the same play, and that's 3 gassers right there. And I told Coach Fuller, I said, they ran those on Monday. He said, oh, okay, so they did their disciplines on Monday and their conditioning on Tuesday. I said, no, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Them guys ran everything on Monday. Mind you, they can't force you to do anything because there's a 20-hour rule. It was voluntary that you were going to discipline and punish yourself. Right now, it's probably cutting out of their checks, but clearly based upon what you guys believe and what has been said about our university, money ain't working. Taking their money just makes them pout and cry. Good old-fashioned up-downs, good old-fashioned gassers, good old-fashioned, like they ran a track meet. Like, you fumble the ball, it's 10 gassers. 10 stadiums, 85 steps to glory. That means from the bottom step at the stadium, you ran all the way to the tippy top, 85 steps up there. And then typically they have a picture of the turnover. Every interception, three stadiums. Thomas Castellano's legs wouldn't be strong enough to be able to run 19 times because he would have so many gassers. For the first time in my life, I was paying attention to the helmets, and they ain't got no hawks. That means nobody's a jersey guy. Who is it? Like, it didn't, oh my guy, Jaquez Green, he wasn't even trolling. He made a statement that was so crazy. He said, name me 3 guys off this Florida State team. He said, for the first time in my life, I can't name you 3 guys off this Florida State team. And I said, you know what? I can name you because I'm obviously I'm a Florida State guy, but there ain't 3 guys' jerseys I would just buy. Even in the Dow Jimbo years, there's pictures of Trey with the 4 on. There's a picture with Trey with the DeAndre Francois 12 on. There's nobody right now. That's a lie. That's a lie. I rocks with my Florida High alumni. I'm going to get a Makai Danzy jersey if my boys want one because I rocks with Makai Danzy. The Twins are going to be good. Some of these guys are going to be good, but like right now, there aren't any people who are doing this. And it's like crazy to go to Florida State and be a guy who nobody knows. Or they know you because you sucked. And you created such bad memories that they have to remember you so that they're not around you. And that's been the last decade. And it's crazy that this fan base wants to just blame coaches, because it's not just blaming coaches. It's the players got to go and do that. Oh, my bad. I'll buy the kid. I think somebody got me some jersey. I got to get the kid's jersey, the young man who got shot. I rocks with him. I wish his number was 36, but it's 35. But he's cool. Good family. Love the progression that he's made. McCoy is going to be good. I can see myself wanting to rock with McCoy, the real McCoy. I like Deuce. Deuce is good. I hope Deuce comes back. I'm going to get some insight on Deuce to see if, he really probably should leave. And the insanity of this and the words just do not match the actions. And I am a actions guy to a fault. I don't care. I don't even want you to say I'm sorry. I don't like sorry. I don't like apologies. Kanye might be crazy, but Kanye's bar was real. Don't even fix your lips like collagen to say something where you're going to end up apologizing. Because most of the time you're sorry for the outcome of the actions in which you presented. You're not sorry for what you actually did. And there needs to be, it's not even about having an infusion of talent as much as it's about having an influx of attitude and true bravado, not that talking bravado, like not that falseness, that I'm going to really come in and I'm going to punch you in the mouth and I'm going to be the ones to fix this. And the only way to be able to understand that is in recruiting. You have to get past just measurables and you have to get to the people who understand what the actual fucking standard is. I got people calling me about helping them with jobs that won't call me to help about, but won't call me about recruiting and the guys that actually need to be there and how to actually get the guys that need to be there. You need to get guys like Dub around. Like not around like with a sideline pass, actually there. Stop being afraid of the past and embrace that shit. Because the standard bearers are here because we actually live this. This is as close to a fraternity that some of us have ever been in. And the reason why we speak in the manner in which we speak, and the reason why I get so mad about some of the things that are said, not even if they're not necessarily true, but if they're not provided in context, is because I ain't pledged Alpha. I ain't pledged Omega. I ain't pledged Kappa. I ain't pledged Sigma. I ain't got no problem with that. I got a lot of friends who are that, but I did not go to college to make fucking friends. I went to college to try to go to the league. And I had 120 friends every day that I went on that field and I bled with. I went through, we grewed up together. I saw people like Leon Washington go from a dude who I could barely understand what the fuck he said to being an offensive coordinator in college. I went from seeing guys who just, like, I'm from that city. I grew up when FAMU and Florida State were in their primes. I have my touchdown from North Carolina State. It was hanging in Shingles Chicken Shack over by FAMU's campus. There ain't nobody ever had no pictures like that at Shingles. My goddaddy was so proud of me that he put me up in there, and I ain't the first legend to ever walk through that place. I just had a friend, CJ just sent me something. There's a picture of one of my touchdowns in some place in Quincy, some restaurant in Quincy. It means something to you when you actually have, it's hard to be humble when you're stunting on the Jumbotron. It's a problem. And I'm not saying that I'm not finna bovate, I'm not finna cuss, I'm not finna do all this stuff, but like losses happen. I lost to Florida. I ain't worried about that. But it's the sense of like it's a difference between being out-coached and outplayed. And they are both. And that is really hard to watch. And you can't. And then I got people retweeting, getting mad at my guy Kobe for saying it's going to be hard. It sucks that I can't talk about the school that I'm proud of with my son, who's a fan. You wouldn't send your son to that either. The only saving grace is, like, I was talking with Dexter Carter about his son, and I was just telling him, because I talk to these guys because I'm like, man, I hope one day that my sons are good enough to be able to be in a position that somebody wants to pay for their college, let alone come. And my son won't watch Florida State games. He says these boys are trash. This is not the standard. This ain't what you told me, Dad. These ain't the stories of what you told me. But what he'll say is that they won't be that bad when I get there. Do you understand that's a mindset and a mentality? It ain't got nothing to do with getting money. And let's get into that. There was an article. Fuck that game. The game sucks. Season's over. We'll be back at it next year. So grateful I got my 2 tailgates out of the way, so I could go make some bread, and we can do some things for the kids in this community. And hopefully, they'll act right. Next year's schedule is actually pretty cool. You got SMU, you got Clemson out, SMU at home, Clemson at home. I was looking at it. I'll be at a lot more games than I was last year. Because those Friday night games suck. That makes absolutely no sense. Hold on. They got Virginia at home, which should be good. I mean, Florida, Clemson, NC State, SMU, Virginia. That's a pretty solid home slate. I ain't gonna lie to you. And Louisville, Miami, and Pitt, and Boston College away, as well as Alabama. I don't go to Alabama, so I ain't set myself up. But I'll be at Miami. I like Pitt Stadium, so I'll probably go to Pitt. I'll probably go to Louisville. And depending on where BC is, I may go to Boston College. So I'm not 1,000% sure. Those games are fine. But let's talk about this article. Oh, we gotta make sure. That's funny. Somebody asked me if Lane Kiffin told me to go inside. I mean, I'd beat the shit out of Lane Kiffin. I'm not like I call. Remember, who's the guy I used to call hoe? Kendall Browse. I called Kendall Browse a hoe, and he knew better. He knew he was a hoe too. And anyways, but like I'm going, and I was trying to find this article for FS for the FSU that came out over the summer, where they talked about the NIL at FSU and how bad it was and how corrupt it was. And basically that's essentially what the articles from Chop Chat and the articles from Chop Chat and then what Doc Staples talked about in his podcast. I would encourage everybody to go check out Chop Chat and everybody to go check out Doc Staples' podcast. I guess Doc Staples said that was his he's out. Him and Bud Elliott are out, which means that maybe I should get back in and just give some context for podcasts. I ain't really trying to do the Florida State got log jam with podcasts, but it's just a lot of clickbait and a lot of emotional things that I just don't think men should really be into like that. But that's just me. I'm a fullback. So like, you remember he's just a fullback. That was Bud's thing. And like, ironically, you're just really good contributor, really carved his niche into recruiting. But like, how could people try to say I didn't score? My nickname came from scoring touchdown. Here's the facts of what's happened. Florida State is no different than Florida. A lot of schools have the crux of the crux of the situation, and the problem with NIL contracts is that just like every contract, when you have a big business trying to negotiate with a smaller entity, it's about negotiating from positions of leverage, and they're doing what's in the best interest of the said entity that they represent. So that's first. Let's get that part out the way. The second part we want to get out the way is this. You're not a child anymore. This is business. You sign a fucking contract. You read the contract. At 18 or whether it's 17, if your parents do it for you, you are responsible for what you put your signature on. I have zero sympathy for anybody who does that. It's business. That's part of the reason why we're doing the things that we want to do with the MFTK Foundation. I always tell people, give me your contract so that we can read over it before your dumb ass signs something. $500. If you know you're getting $500,000, spend the $500. Trust me. Trust me. Spend the $500, right? Listen to Jay-Z. Stop listening to Lil Boosie. Jay-Z had this great bar. Chains is cool to cop, but more important is lawyer fees. You can ask Danielle Kelly. I'll tell her. Oh, we used to like the battle, not the Battles In. It was the other group before that. I can't think of the name of it. Man, them contracts I said once them contracts start having that Old Testament language, stop trying to read it. Hell, ChatGPT big now. Upload that bitch into ChatGPT and tell it to speak to you in English. The problem is parents are parents are allowing the children to be the lead when you need to actually be that, or be smart enough to be able to get sound representation. You got agents taking 10% of money, 10 to 20% of monies that they didn't even negotiate because the schools technically tell you how much money they're going to pay you. So you're getting hit there, and because you're seeing big numbers and not understanding how you get paid. That is your fault for signing that. Don't sign the contract. Now, to Florida State's defense, they give you the contract way earlier than other schools give contracts. This class right here, I know, I won't tell you how I know, but I know they got the contracts November 14th. The NIL contracts, if you were planning to sign there, if that was something you were going to do. Miami didn't send their contracts out to their players until this weekend. Like to about Thursday or Friday, if I remember correctly. Why is that important? The damn signing day is on Wednesday. You don't even have enough time to get to your lawyer to have them be able to look over that. Ain't nobody writing articles and think pieces about that, though. How is that? That is shady as shit. When you start talking about these things, let's talk about them in context and relation to what other schools are doing. And the problem is, it's a problem across the board, but it's business. And for those who have actually been in business, who have actually signed six-figure deals, who have actually seen these things, you would actually know how to, I can talk about this in the proper context. Everything is negotiable. When you actually read the damn contract and you see that they're going to take tuition, they're going to take this, they're going to take that. I don't like that. I am going to negotiate that out of my deal. And guess what's happened to people who peep that? They have negotiated it out of their deal. They are not the only school that does that. It is wrong, but they're not the only school to do that. Where you're wrong is just like I saw about myself earlier today. I broke a rule. I'm being punished by that. I think it's a stupid fucking rule. But at the end of the day, I signed a contract that says that I will abide by that rule. So there are consequences if I break said rule. So if you sign a contract, in the paragraph that it states here, you signed the contract. But let me tell you why it doesn't make sense why they wrote that. Because if you're an elite athlete, you're there to make it to the NFL, right? How does pouting and not playing well factor into you getting out of that contract or getting to the NFL? I'll wait. I didn't get my money right. My money is different, so I'm not going to play well so that I can't even hit the transfer portal and get my money right. That makes no sense. It only makes sense when you have a love and hip hop, reality TV, drama filled mindset. And I'm sorry, I know a couple of them cats who are affected by that. They just ain't that good. That's the facts. We want to try to find every reason to explain away bad foundational football and people missing tackles. 20-hour rule, right? You're guaranteed that you have to pay 20 hours. You probably put in an extra 10 hours studying film and working out, and then you fly to go play a game every week. You think that you're going to subject your body through that kind of torment and you're crying and pouting? And if that's the case, you know what? Forget getting Mike Norvell out of there. Get rid of every kid. Call them kids out. Tell me who exactly told you those things and get out of here. Give me some people who ready to read contracts. Give me some people who ain't going to pout and cry and risk their lives getting injured, because that's stupid people and they're going to get me killed or my kids killed when we're on the football field. None of that makes sense. Not if you're an elite mindset guy. All of y'all in bad contracts. I bet a lot of y'all ain't read the damn paperwork and the HR stuff that you got to go through at your job. The matter of fact, the app in which you're listening to me to, you have no idea the shit that you signed up for, that you're actually subject to. But do you get to cry and complain about it? No. So when you see this, you're like, oh, Mo, they did. No, what they did was they did. It's as American as apple pie. It's capitalism. You want to participate in capitalism? Participate in it. You don't want to participate in it? Just realize you're getting played by the game regardless. It's what makes America exceptional. It's why Jimmy Sexton is effective. Jimmy Sexton, like the funniest thing I said when a person read me the contract, I said Jimmy Sexton wouldn't let them sign that. Jimmy Sexton would hell no, I'm not signing that shit. Matter of fact, if you sign that, he would refuse to use you as a client. But as I said, Miami doesn't give their stuff early. Florida has worse contract language than what you could think that we have. Now, the language that I don't like, I'll tell you the language that I don't like and what I would not allow my son to play for. I do not like the fact that you do have they're nickel and diamond. They're taking tuition out for some room. They're not paying your room and board. They're not your books you have to pay for. Your even some of your medical. Because not like you got to pay for your whole surgery, but what happens is you're on your parents' insurance, and if your parents don't have it, they'll get you an insurance through Florida State University, and then Florida State has like an additional policy that covers your stuff. So basically, you'd have to pay your copays, which is funny because the same people who are bitching about it were actually saying that, well, if we give them NIL, then they should pay for their schooling. Well, that's kind of what's happening. And if I was getting paid $300,000, and it's probably roughly between 50 and 60K, if I was getting 300 and now I'm getting 250 and it's 1099 too, I ain't really crying because that's a $50,000 write-off because you're a 1099. That's why I know y'all motherfuckers are just talking and don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's just a write-off. But nevertheless, don't short me my money. I want what I was thinking about, but I have to actually step back and take personal accountability when they can tell me it's in their contract. But they got lawyers, they got more than one lawyer, they got tons of lawyers. And no matter how, and this is like the record industry. Don't fall in love with the idea of playing for something and not understand the business side of it. The problem is too many of you guys just like you pretend to like the X's and O's and you don't know that shit either. And you got people commenting on the X's and O's and stuff that have never done the X's and O's. And now you got people commenting on the business side of it that ain't never did business before. And I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't get none of this shit from Florida State. So this ain't pro Florida State on this. I got all of this from the actual reading of the contract and talking to players. So with all that being said, they did present facts. They weren't lying at all. It was the facts. But facts without context can really leave you in a bad place. And when we're already mad about losing, all it does is just drum up more bullshit. And I know ain't nobody gonna watch this. Everybody's gonna listen to everybody else. Why listen to the guy who can actually walk on the campus and do whatever the fuck he wants to do? Because, I don't know, but I'm just telling you what. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even get asked. I mean, I didn't even want to know some of the stuff that I know. It kind of threw my Thanksgiving off. Or actually, I was celebrating my son's birthday because a little bit later than what his birthday was. But I wanted to go take him to Dave and Buster's. I wanted to go just hang out at Dave and Buster's. I was having a bad week already because I was suspended on some BS and I had some other things going on. And I just like, you know what? Then this happened, and it was a good person that I respect. And we were just talking, but then he talked to me about other schools, things, and then I made some phone calls. I was talking to my buddy at Texas, and he was telling me about how, well, we don't do that here, but we do this. Then I was talking to some guys at Florida. Well, we do that too, but we also do this, and the language is worse, and the fines are worse. And like, oh yeah, even some of the fines, like you're not supposed. The craziest part about all of this is all you have to do is submit your contract to the governing board, in which they've all said that they will submit to. And they'll defend you. Or threaten to do it. Again, for anybody under the sound of my voice, regardless of how much you love an institution, regardless of what you plan on doing and what you plan on not doing, always have oversight. Always. Even if I wrote a contract for my son, I would explain it to him, but I say, hey, man, go get a lawyer to read over this so that you're protected. You are responsible for what you sign your signature on. And I'm telling you this, if you believe that, or if that happened, if that truly happened, I want every one of them motherfuckers gone. Every single one of them. Because that is you cannot work that. You can't get beyond that. If you're willing to go out there because you're pouting about your contract and get yourself hurt and others and think that that's working, you're beyond IEP, stupid. You're just like we need to get you Baker acted. Like if that's really the mindset that those guys were coming out of, because again, it doesn't benefit you because you signed a contract. So you're not even going to play good enough to get to another school. Like you're not even playing mad to get out of the situation that you put yourself in. Like just think about it. You put yourself in that situation. You signed a bad contract. Like it's a thing with 50 Cent and Get Rich or Die Trying, where the guy was trying to make him sign a contract. He's like, no, it's like you need a 50 Cent to do. He's like, I ain't no bitch like you. I ain't signing a motherfucking contract. Like he's just doing. That's basically what you gotta think about. But that's why you need strong parenting. And you need strong people who are not just trying to take advantage of these jits. Like that's why I originally got into the NIL thing with Mika Nope, but then I found out that that motherfucker was full of shit too. Mike was full of shit. Not Mike Norvell, but the guy who was with Mika Nope. I found out he was full of shit, and he just wanted to make a bag and things of that nature. That's why I pulled out from that. But now I'm in a situation now where I got my jit coming up. I'm trying to learn stuff. I got some kids that I really care about coming up. and I just happen to know a little. I ain't past the bar, but I know a little bit. So I hope did that explain enough for those who caught it in the end, and those who didn't. Go back, listen to the show. We need the likes and stuff like that. But hopefully that explained that situation as best as I could. This is not no hate against anybody's stuff. I think Kelvin with Chop Chat does a phenomenal job with the stuff that he does. I also think Doc Staples, he be hitting after the whistle sometimes, with meaning like he always knows some stuff after it happened. But after it's already, he like what's that black chick that always says like I was on the toilet when this sign. I also knew this. It's crazy. Like she used to be good, but she's not anymore. But like some of this stuff again, facts without context can lead people into disarray. So my bad, Jaden. Let's go back into that. We had a crazy world of sports.
Just want to reiterate, FSU has not won a game on the road since 2 seasons ago. So these last 2 seasons, FSU has not managed to get
I
a
don't think it's gonna
road
happen
win.
next year too. Looking at that schedule, I'm just going because them fun places to go.
Well, we are going to look at the SEC coaching carousel that happened this past weekend. So let's take a look at this SEC coaching carousel. So Alex Golish is the new head coach at Auburn. He was previously the USF coach. And then you have Ryan Silverfield, former Memphis coach, is now with Arkansas. You have John Sumrall, the former Tulane coach. LSU got Lane Kiffin, the biggest head coaching news story from this weekend. And then you have Pete Golden, the Ole Miss DC, filling in that head coaching role since Lane Kiffin is at LSU. So let's take a quick look at these statistics. Lane Kiffin was a difference maker at Ole Miss. He had 3 straight 10-win seasons, the longest streak in program history. A program record 11 wins in 2023 and in 2025, and 48 straight weeks in the AP poll, the second longest in program history. But his departure was met with a lot of controversy. So let's take a look at this statement he made. Quote, after a lot of prayer and time spent with family, I made the difficult decision to accept the head coaching position at LSU. I was hoping to complete a historic 6-season run with this year's team by leading Ole Miss through the playoffs, capitalizing on the team's incredible success and their commitment to finish strong, and investing everything into a playoff run with guardrails in place to protect the program in any areas of concern. My request to do so was denied by Keith Carter, despite the team also asking him to allow me to keep coaching them so they could better maintain their high level of performance. Unfortunately, that means Friday's Egg Bowl was my last game coaching the Rebels. While I'm looking forward to a new start with the unique opportunity at LSU, I will forever cherish the incredible 6 years I spent at Ole Miss and will be rooting hard for the team to complete their mission and bring a championship to Oxford. So it looks like he had to skedaddle out of Oxford and head to Baton Rouge. There's videos going around of people booing him as he boards the private jet to leave Oxford, and he was met with some applause as he landed in Baton Rouge. But James, he is now a LSU Tiger. Lane Kiffin accepted the role as the head coach at LSU, James. So, did you see this panning out, him going there? And what do you think about his abrupt exit from the squad? And could you understand how those Ole Miss players could be a little upset with Coach Kiffin?
Oh, tremendously upset because this is why I don't care about NIL. I think pay these kids as much as they want to pay because coaches can leave, get fired, do whatever they want to do. And there is absolutely no rhyme or reason. Like there is nothing there to protect the players when the guys leave. So like you've recruited me and you're telling me you're going to be here, you're going to see me. You're talking about character, talking about unity, talking about doing this stuff for the team. But at the end of the day, you're going to do what's best for you and your family. No problem with that, what the coaches are doing. I just always tell people to stop lying. Like this man's agent, Jimmy Sexton, was doing what was best for his client. He was shopping Florida, shopping this. And the craziest part is Ole Miss offered to match everything. Like that's why Ole Miss ain't letting him stay. Like it's not that Ole Miss said we won't pay you, we won't put reinvestments in it. Just think about this again. This is a man who was hell bent on getting out of Oxford. And this is the second time that this has happened. The last person who was happy at Oxford, pretending to be a Christian and loving on strippers, was who was the coach that ended up going to Liberty that just got fired from Auburn? Hugh Freeze. Last time and Hugh Freeze was cheating with the best of them, but this was before NIL. Lane, let's just lay this out here, right? And if you're Ole Miss, and ladies, y'all would know this because ladies typically are the ones who do this too. But as a man, like, man, this is where you gotta. If we clip this, what I want us to do is take Stevie Wonder's "Lately," right, and that's what we need to play. Stevie Wonder had this thing. Lately, I've been staring in the mirror. Which I haven't, that's funny in of itself. Like, just could you imagine walking in and seeing Stevie Wonder staring in the mirror? Like, what the fuck are you looking at? It's like, lately I've been staring in the mirror, very slowly picking me apart, trying to tell myself that I have no reason to lose your heart. What was it say? They say, just the other night while you were sleeping, I vaguely heard you whisper someone's name. But when I ask you what are the thoughts you're keeping, you just say, nothing's changed. But see, I'm a man of many wishes, and I hope my premonition misses. But what it clearly means, my eyes won't let me hide because they always. So I'm saying this to say, here's what Ole Miss is. You've built this up into 3 10-win seasons. You should have made the college football playoff last year. You have literally stamped yourself into the college football playoff, which is why we play this game, right? You're the number 6 team in the nation, probably about to bounce up, but about to get up further. You've got a school that says, okay, we see that other people are trying to court you. We will match, if not pay you more to stay. Was it Sam Hunt? Baby, just stay with me. Is what Ole Miss is trying. They're pleading with you. They said, we've been there for you. We picked you up when nobody else wanted you. We cleaned you up and you got us better. We built ourselves up. And now we see other people want you, so we're willing to do that nasty thing that we didn't want to do, that them other chicks was trying to do. And we haven't done anything wrong. We haven't done anything wrong besides love you. All we did was try to do better for you. And then you leave us for LSU, who's such, yes, she got a BBL. Yes, she got her titties done. But she steals from children's hospitals. And she's not better than us right now. She was living good. She's a washed video chick. And you leave me the one who's been by your side. And you leave us for her. And then we ain't even gonna talk about the person that you almost stepped out on us, the cross-eyed, bow-legged in one leg and slew-footed in the other. That only washes on Wednesdays. We ain't even gonna talk about that shit in Gainesville. But you left us a better situation for this. That's explain like that's it is crazy. There's so many every other job in America. You're right. You know what? It's that Louisiana accent. It's that Louisiana accent. It gets you every time. It gets you every time, dog. Can't do nothing about sounding like Rogue. That's basically Lane Kiffin left for Rogue because even when you get Rogue, she sucks all your powers out of you. So you're not the same person. Just think about it. That is probably the best example of what this is. Les Miles. She sucked all the power out of Les Miles because after she got the natty. Coach O sucked all the power out of Coach O after he won the natty. What is Lane gonna do, man? Anyways, bro, going back to it, just like most of y'all jobs right now, if you tell them you want to quit, they're gonna ask you to give them 2 weeks notice. Ole Miss so mad at Lane, they don't even want the 2 weeks notice. They don't want him to pass it off and help Pete Golding do this the right way. But I will say this: they did bounce back, and Pete Golding is actually one of the top coaches candidates out there that a lot of people wanted. And so, like, it's crazy because they literally wanted to give Lane. They just wanted to give Lane everything that he ever wanted in life, and he didn't want to love him.
Lane Kiffin did bring the OC Charlie West Jr. or Weiss Jr., wide receiver coach George McDonald, strength and conditioning coach Nick Savage, and the general manager Billy Glasscock with him to the Tigers. So he did come with some of his own Louis V baggage from Oxford. So that was the biggest story out of the mix. And you got people online saying they even left his clothes out in the street, man. Hilarious. Man, Lane Kiffin embarking on a new journey in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And James, it looks like Florida is embarking on a new general manager journey as well. So the University of Florida made a familiar hire if you are a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. So Florida is finalizing a deal with David Caldwell to be the next general manager for the Gators. He's the former Jacksonville Jaguars general manager from 2013 to 2020 and has been with the Eagles since 2021. James, were you surprised to see this hire by the Gators? And I'm pretty sure you probably knew this was happening a little bit before it became official. So what are your thoughts about Caldwell to Swamp Town?
I think I like Dave. Dave's my guy. He almost went there last year, but a lot of the hiccups were they wanted him to answer to Billy. And he was like, I'm not answering no coach. That's not how this works. I'll answer to the president or the athletic director, but that's my job is to be on this line. And it's kind of like an NFL mindset. And that's kind of what you got to do now. And I think that helps them. But like, I think they'll have better ideas with contract. Everybody gets on Dave, and Dave had a really good explanation for why it didn't work in Jacksonville. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really worked in his role in Philly, where he's the guy who kind of handles a lot of the contract language. Dave is really good at evaluating talent and in college. And these guys' minds work differently. Dave gave me, when I first met him 5 years ago, not first, like met him like to actually talk with him. And this man gave me my NFL draft profile that he had when he was with the Colts. And mind you, that was 15 years ago at that time. And every year he has more and more people that he has to learn. And I ask him about it. Everybody I ask him about, he'll give me the evaluation, and it's been dead accurate. The NFL is so precise that you're going to miss on 70% of the prospects that you draft. So, like, the problem is when you miss on the first round guys, like, I think he doubled down his last year was when he really messed up because neither one of them got, even though clavicle chasing is actually better than the guys we had. Well, at a certain point, he had more sacks than Trayvon and the man with 3 last names. But I think that's changed now. Not CJ. What was the boy's name? The corner he should have never drafted. But you can't get some of those. You can't get the medical evals on something because of HIPAA. Like if they would have been able to find out that this motherfucker was crazy, like they probably wouldn't have drafted him. But he the Taven Bryan thing, everybody. So I'm reading this. Put Father Matt, father figure Matt. He drafted Taven 29th and Lamar went 30 seconds. Blake hadn't showed he was a brother, my brother in Christ. It's the same reason why Mike Alford signed Mike Norvell after going 13-1 in Alabama coming after him. Blake Bortles literally took the Jaguars were a Miles Jack isn't down play away from playing in the Super Bowl. You would that would be career suicide to not re-sign him. And yes, we know about Lamar Jackson. There were 31 teams that passed on Lamar Jackson. It wasn't just the Jaguars. And it was crazy because they shouldn't have. Now, granted, I will never forgive him for drafting Taven Bryan. Taven Bryan was ass. I will never forgive him for drafting Taven. I hate Taven Bryan. Taven Bryan is a bad person. I don't think you talked about bad about Taven Bryan just was an awful human because of how he played football. Probably a good guy, but he didn't ask to be drafted 29th. But like they drafted him, and I have no idea. I forgot who the center was, but it was the worst center from Florida State history was whipping his ass. And that's when I knew he sucked. When I looked, I'm like, what? Ew. But I think sometimes in the NFL you see measurables and you get enamored by the measurables when because that late in the draft. Because again, remember, he's the GM for a team that drafted 29th, and it's not because they traded picks. So when you draft 29th, that means you're pretty damn good. I think some of the stuff was he got a little bit too enamored with that, and he also fell in between some really bad coaching hires. And like you had Malarkey, you had which just his name. Like we should have known he wasn't any good. Literally. Yeah. And he had who was the dude before him? No, the dude right after Malarkey. Yeah, but TC came in and TC was with Doug, the first Doug. Oh, yeah. But Doug was on the staff with the guy who's a Seahawks. I think he was a Seahawks DC. But you just had some really bad spots. But again, NFL and college are two different things. NFL is entertainment. NFL is not football like that. It's actually more consistent and easier to predict NFL than it is to predict Gus Bradley, thank you, than it is to predict college. Because college, you have to take in the fact that apparently people pout because of their money. Right. And, other stuff like it's just anyways, we'll see. I think the world of Dave. So I also hate Florida, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So I did text him congratulations, though. His work in Philly is definitely going to be missed. I guess I will not be flying first flight in the morning to go to a Philly football game and to be back by that stinks.
And some more head coaching news, James. SEC team is in the spotlight. That is Kentucky. Kentucky has fired head coach Mark Stoops. He has a $38 million buyout. And Chris Lowe of On3 actually said Stoops was never going to walk away on his own, but when Kentucky approached him about a separation, he said he would be willing to negotiate an agreement allowing Kentucky to spread out payments over a number of years instead of paying $38 million within 60 days of his firing. So he wanted to be spread out, and it looks like he may have gotten that wish. He had a $38 million buyout, James. He's been the Kentucky coach since 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And I know I've been seeing a lot of people in the chat. I don't know if they're serious or not, but they're saying Stoops, DC. So, James, what are your thoughts on Stoops getting fired from University of Kentucky?
I just think that this is just a situation where they're being greedy. Like, this man is the all-time winningest coach in Kentucky history. Like, you know, again, it just goes back to like, who are you? Like, I don't understand that one as much as maybe. And I think the way Stoops is handling this, I think Stoops is just tired of being there. And like, he'll probably sit around. If I were him, I would take the year off, and I would not be in a rush to coach, because you could literally be the next guy in the next cycle. And somebody will take a gamble on you because they could get you in there and fix it quick. You can fix it quick. Like, you were at a school where you were never the number one priority. And it's just, yeah. Kentucky, wow, like, yeah. Maybe they feel bad because Louisville is becoming the better of the programs there, but whatever. I like Stoops. Bring him in as a DC if he wants to come. Ain't no way I'm letting them get out of paying me my money up front, though. Now, give me. I want all my, and I want it in small bills.
The conference championships are set. So these are your P4, aka Power 4 matchup, James. ACC on their first, Duke versus Virginia. So I know a lot of people had the Twitter jokes rolling because Manny Diaz is going to the ACC championship game, and you do not see Miami on that list. But James, we're going to come back to that.
Notable logos missing.
We're going to come back to that because I know you got something to say. Big Ten is no surprise. Indiana versus Ohio State. Man, I don't know if anybody watched the Ohio State-Michigan game, but Ohio State, looking like the truth. Big 12, BYU versus Texas Tech. Lastly, with Alabama's win over the Auburn Eagles, you have the Bulldogs versus the Roll Tide for your SEC championship. But back up top, James, you had the grin earlier. No Miami, but Manny Diaz is facing off against the Cavaliers. Talk to me about that.
I mean, Manny Diaz, probably should have never been. That's one Cuban that probably should have never been fired from Miami. His record isn't great, but he won. But this is why conference play is important. He won the games that you're supposed to win. This is your most important games are in conference play. And I think Virginia is going to win it, but he has a shot. He's a really good defensive coach. And he's at Duke. Manny's going to parlay this into something. And Manny will probably be, if they win, regardless of who wins this, both of these teams will be bounced in the first round. In the first round of the college football playoff. But I think it's an interesting situation at how the ACC since they've expanded, since they started the expansion, has effectively crumbled. But there's a parity there that other conferences brag about. Like, when you look at who's played in the conference championship over the last 2 decades, it has been a lot of different teams and a lot of different champions. Whereas the SEC is basically is very top heavy. It doesn't rotate everybody. Like, Vanderbilt's never going to be in the SEC championship. This is the best Texas A&M team they've had since Technicolor, since before we had the last Great War. And they still couldn't make the SEC championship. And Miami, being one of the best teams in the nation, lost to 2 teams that were so below them that's why they can't be in the ACC championship. And probably why they will be in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl presented by Toyota at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. And if you listen to this channel, you can win tickets to it, or you can buy them for cheaper. I think when we talk about parity and we talk about how strong a conference is, we use markers that are very convenient and aren't consistent at all. But I digress. I'd say the Big is more competitive and has more parity than the SEC, because who would have ever thought in a million years that Indiana would be in the position that they're in? I know I wasn't tracking that.
I wanted to correct something. I did say Auburn Eagles by accident. Did not mean to say that. Meant to say Auburn Tigers.
Well, War Eagle.
War Eagle. Yeah, that's where I got it mixed up. Yeah. But yes, they did lose to Alabama, which is resulting in Alabama facing off against Georgia in the SEC championship. But James, we actually got other conferences to look at as well. So you have the Mountain West Conference. This is your championship. Dan Mullen, James, with UNLV going off against Boise State for the Mountain West Conference championship game. Dan Mullen is in his conference championship game. And lastly, you got the American Conference Championship game between UNT and Tulane. Should be a great game between the Mean Green and the Green Waves. Has some,
and no team has an excuse of not having their coach. Or is Tulane coach actually finishing it out?
I'm not sure. Let me look that up. Let me look it up. Yes, Summerall is going to finish the season with them. So, yep, Summerall is going to the University of Florida, but after he finishes his season with the Tulane Green Wave. So, just wanted to keep everybody informed on the conference championship matchups that will be happening this upcoming weekend. Super excited to see the outcomes of those games right there. Now, James, we are at the NFL portion of the segment. We're going to start off with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Great news for the Jaguars. Our division rivalry game with the Tennessee Titans was not a close one. The Jags finished the game on top with their 25-3 victory over the Tennessee Titans. So let's take a look at the box score of this game. Trevor Lawrence went 16 of 27, thrown for 229 yards, an average of 8.5 yards per completion, and 2 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. But he got sacked 3 times and lost 27 yards on the matter. And Cam Ward, 24-38, 141 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also got sacked 3 times, but lost 20 yards on the day. Travis Etienne did not have that much production when it comes to running the ball. 12 carries for 28 yards. Trevor Lawrence almost caught up to Etienne with his 3 carries for 25 yards, and Basul Tutton had a rushing touchdown with 8 carries for 17 yards. Tony Pollard led the Tennessee rushing corps with 60 yards and 10 carries. But huge shout out to the midseason pickup of Jacoby Myers, 6 receptions, 90 yards, and he got a touchdown on the day. Brenton Strange, 3 receptions, 45 yards, also touchdown on the day as well. Brian Thomas Jr., first game back, 2 receptions, 28 yards on the day. So Tennessee lost 2 fumbles courtesy of Tony Pollard and Tremere Ike. Looking at the team stats, the Jaguars had 9 more first downs than the Titans, but Jaguars, similarly to the Titans, were horrible on third down conversions. The Jaguars were 3 of 13 on third down conversions, while the Titans were 2 of 12. The Titans were 1 of 4 on fourth down conversions, while the Jags were 1 of 1. Total yards, the Jaguars had 272 compared to 188. Jaguars had 202 passing yards compared to 121, and they had similar rushing statistics. Jaguars having 70 rushing yards, while the Titans had 67. Both teams were penalized over 85 yards in this game. Jaguars having 13 penalties for 98 yards, while the Titans had 10 for 86, and the Jaguars had 3 more minutes of time of possession than the Tennessee Titans, who are now 1-11 and 0-7 at home. And so let's take a look at this stat right quick. Per Next Gen Stats, Josh Hines Allen has 33 pressures since the Jaguars' Week 8 bye and currently leads all players by at least 7 pressures between weeks 9 through 13. Hines Allen also has 5.5 sacks through that span, which is tied for 4th place. James, what did the Jaguars do the best in this game to give them that victory in this AFC South division?
Well, they played great complementary football. It was a combination between a lot of different things. The defense is playing hellacious. They're getting like better as the season's going on. Also, let's just be honest. First half of the schedule, the Jaguars was pretty brutal, and they probably still should have won some games. You had your chance against Seattle. You definitely should have beat Cincinnati. And I'm trying to figure out, we lost to another team that just did. Oh, we should have beat the Texans. You probably should have lost to the Chiefs. Only game you actually asked for was by the Rams. But if you pick up there's a bizarro world that if Trevor Lawrence would have played to the level in which he played last night, the Jags would be number 1 in the AFC. But it's what I've only asked. Yeah, and what people are refusing to hear in the shorts clips, like Trevor Lawrence didn't do anything great, but he didn't do anything bad. And the defense stepped it up. He used his legs when he needed to use his legs. He threw the ball he has a wide receiver that has a great synergy with him right now. Like, that might be the greatest midseason trade in Jaguar history right now. If they go to if they make the playoffs, like, you got to consider that he is the reason why the Jags are going to be. Myers is the reason why the Jags will be in the playoffs. But what I'm saying is that now Brian Thomas Jr. can be your. You don't have to get it like he 6 for 6 was what 6 targets, 6 catches, no drops. BCJ had 2. You got BCJ. You can get him into that 3 to 5 target range and hope he gets 3 of them, and it doesn't kill you. Brenton Strange is another one, doesn't mind the infirmary ball. We know Parker Washington ain't gonna know his name in a few years. That's his thing. That's why we brought him here. That's why they drafted him. So now he has a good thing here. And then Travis Etienne, I had no idea that that was what the running game was. I thought he did better than that. Tootin actually was tooting it too for the few times that he did it, but they get that running game a little bit more effective, and this game is more of a blowout. But Trevor didn't do anything Trevorish, which is all you can ask.
You can't parlay with this team.
You can't.
No identity.
No identity.
Nothing right.
Nothing. Actually, the best thing you can do is get the Jaguars defense.
Right.
That's all you can do. Like, oh, well, it hasn't done it this year, but and then Cam Little, most games going into it, just go ahead and put him for 2. Like, putting $5 on a Cam Little getting 2 field goals isn't crazy. Right. It's not out of the realm. So, like, but again, like I always tell people, before they jump on me, remember this. And Chris Porter said it, and it's on our YouTube with our Jags segment for what we did with Sports Final the other night. I explicitly stated that the Jaguars will win the AFC South. Because overall, if you can win, if you could get Trevor to not be so Trevor, you're going to be fine. And what's going to be wild is when they do get there, it's going to be so crazy that we're going to want to say Trevor's a top 15 or a top 10 quarterback.
Not me.
And he's not. But he can be. And we just got to be happy with what we have because, again, they win 2 more games and we're in the playoffs. And do you know what one of the 5 remaining games is? Another game against the Tennessee Titans. And what's wild is the Colts, who had a very easy front half of the schedule, their back half is brutal. Their quarterback is hurt with a fibula. Sauce Gardner just is probably out for 2 games with a strain. They are like, you're in a position this week to go up. So right now we're ahead. We're a half game ahead. You could go up a game. You could go up. That would be technically you'll go up to 1.5 games if you just win next week. And imagine when Trayvon and Eric Armstead come back. This defense is going to be what pushes you through the. And if you want to know, I'm not saying this is going to happen. Actually, I just want them to go. If they go, do you know how lit San Francisco would be? I would be so. I would work so much. Like we would all have to go. Like Miles, you'd have to go.
Yeah, that would be.
And like it would be just some stuff that just has to happen. That like you just there's no other way. I might have to take the boys. Like we might have to homeschool that week. But you can't gotta get there first. But the Jags could actually effectively. There's only one game that's just really tough. My bad. They have the Jets and the Titans, and you win 10 and you're in. And the Jets ain't good either. And then you gotta you win one of the Colts games, and you win your rematch with the Texans. And bruh, you're 12 and you're 12 and 5 team. If you lose 2 of them, the other 2, or am I wrong? Maybe 11. So, anyways, you got enough wins to be able to probably, arguably, maybe get a number 1 seed. Can you imagine the Jags with a bye? Nobody knows what the fuck is going on in the NFL. Like none of these teams are consistent.
Yeah, no, it's hard. Even still.
That's the only team I don't want to see. Well, the Ravens too, but like, yeah. But no, it's just exciting times, dog.
A lot of parody.
A lot of parody.
All right, that's. What happened to the?
Oh, I thought we lost it. We don't have another Texans game. So did we lose?
No, we're not. We're not. We're split with the Texans.
Okay.
We
my bad. So it's 2 Colts, Titans. So just looking at this, you got 2. It's 2 wins right there. The Titans and the Jets. Come on, dog. Like, bruh, let's do this. Just come on, man. Just give me those and we straight. And win one of the games with the Colts. But like we should have beat if we beat the Texans, we'll already be out of this situation. And we shouldn't have split. One more. I'm saying the Titans and the Jets should be layups. Now we should be in the playoffs. I actually want to travel. I don't want to host a playoff game.
Denver is a big concern for the remaining schedule for the Jaguars. But since you already mentioned it, James, the Jaguars are the number 1 team in the AFC South. Yes, you see it right here. With the Colts loss to the Houston Texans, Jaguars are number 1 in the AFC South. The Patriots are the number 1 in the AFC East. The Ravens, even though they're tied with the Steelers, are the number 1 team in the AFC North. And the Broncos are number 1 in the AFC West. For your NFC East, you have the Eagles still number 1, but it's looking like the Cowboys are trying to take that crown from the reigning Super Bowl champions. The Bears are the number 1 team in the NFC, and they're the number 1 team in the NFC North as well. The Bucks are leading the NFC South, but the Panthers, with their recent great win over the LA Rams, looking to take the crown from the Bucks, and the Rams are 9-3 atop the NFC West. They did lose to the Panthers, making the Chicago Bears the number 1 team in the NFC. So we are going to look at
real quick. Do any of those teams scare you besides the team at the bottom? And they lost to the Panthers. Like, I'm not afraid of the Bears. And the Eagles, nobody knows what the fuck going on with them. Definitely not afraid of nothing in the NFC South. Just, oh man, I don't know. That's football. This is why you gotta love football. Can y'all, some of y'all in the chat right now, just take a pause real quick and just push the like button? It's got like 25 likes, and we got more of y'all. And there's some of y'all that are on Twitter. If y'all don't mind, please, just come over here to the YouTube. It's good over here. It's fun over here. Come over here to the YouTube, push your like and subscribe, and then go back to watching it on Twitter.
We're going to run through these NFL games from this past weekend, starting with the Black Friday game. James, the Bears beat the reigning Super Bowl champions 24-15. So Jalen Hurts went 19-34, had 230 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, didn't get sacked. Caleb Williams, 17-36, 154 yards, 4.3 average, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked twice. But the stars of the show were the running backs for the Chicago Bears. Look at this, 22 carries and 130 yards and a rushing touchdown, along with DeAndre Swift getting 18 carries for 125 yards and a rushing touchdown as well. AJ Brown popped off though, James. He is getting some more love out there, but the team is getting a loss. AJ Brown got 10 receptions, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the day. And Cole Kmet had a receiving touchdown to go along with his 3 catches for 36 yards. So these are your carry charts for the Bears' elite running core this game. So this is DeAndre Swift. So as a team, the Bears rushed for 100 yards before contact and 185 after contact against the Eagles. They have reached 100 yards, 100 plus yards before contact and 150 plus after contact twice this season. And no other team in the NFL has done so even once. This is DeAndre Swift, 18 carries, 125 yards. The green lines represent 5 plus yards gained or a touchdown. This is Kyle Monagai's carry chart as well. Same rules apply. You see the touchdown with the blue circle, and the green lines indicate a 5 plus yard gain or a touchdown as well. So, James, what's been going on with the Eagles? They're 8-4 right now, still on top of the NFC East, but looks like the Cowboys is on their heels, and the Eagles are 4-2 at home. They lost to the Bears at home on Black Friday. Crazy.
It looks like this. Everybody wants to force the quarterback to be the most important thing. But history has shown us that good D and good top will win you in life. And a lot of times good D has to be supplemented by pounding the rock. And like, so when you look at it, when the Eagles are running the ball, what are the Eagles doing? They're winning. The Eagles stop running the ball and they're trying to make Jalen Hurts into something that he's not, which is what Cam Newton said. What are they doing? They're losing. Caleb Williams, #1 overall draft pick, quarterback, likes to throw the ball, right? Look at their stats. Look at their numbers. They're running the ball. Just guys want it to be one way when it doesn't have to be that way. Which is wild. So I just all you can do is pray for them. And just, they're still a good team and they'll figure it out when it's time, when it matters, but you don't need to do it the way in which they're talking about doing it.
You mentioned running the ball, James, and the Eagles did not do a great job at that. They only had 17 carries on the day, and Saquon, the reigning offensive player of the year, only had 13 carries for 56 yards. Jalen Hurts had 4 carries for 31 yards on the day. So those two players totaled 17 carries for just 87 yards. Saquon not getting those touches and the stats he has been used to in the Eagles uniform. But we will keep you guys updated with the downfall of Philly And speaking of downfall, let's talk about the downfall of the reigning leaders of the AFC South division. That was the Indianapolis Colts. So the Colts lost to the Texans 22-16, and this was Daniel Jones's passing chart as well. So you can see his passes right there. He went 14 of 27, throwing for 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but got sacked once on the day. This is his passing chart. So he completed 7 of 9 attempts over 10 air yards for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Texans blitzed Jones at their second highest rate this season, 39.3%, effectively limiting him to just 2 completions on 11 attempts for 14 yards when facing the blitz. CJ Stroud was back in this game. He went 22 of 35, threw for 276 passing yards, had 1 interception, 0 touchdowns on the day, and he got sacked twice, losing 20 yards. But James, Jags are playing the Colts next week. They have to play the Colts twice in the remainder of this season. And you mentioned this, All-Pro cornerback Sauce Gardner suffered what's described as a mild calf strain, which would likely sideline him for a couple of weeks. He's getting a second opinion, but positive update, all things considered, given what it could have been. So Jordan Schultz echoed my statement saying Indy has road games against the Jaguars and Seahawks coming up. A tough remaining schedule for the Colts. But James, we're on top of the AFC South. Colts have a hard remaining schedule. You think the Jaguars, echoing what we previously mentioning, can finish out this season in the number 1 spot for the AFC South? And how crucial are the Texans, because they're creeping up behind us with their great defense?
Just got to get these wins, and then you just got to hope. I wonder what the back half of the Texans schedule is. Who all they have left? But
Funny you mentioned it. Had it pulled up right here, James.
Nice.
You have
well, they're gonna lose next week.
Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, and then the Colts.
They win on primetime. It says NBC and Peacock. That means it's being streamed on 2. Like, for people to understand, you can stream on multiple platforms and everything will be okay. Got people like losing it. So they got the Chargers, Colts. So they're kind of in a similar situation. They need to win more games because they're at 6 wins, right?
No, the 7. They're 7-5.
Okay, so they got to win 3 out of their next 5. They've got the Cardinals and the Raiders. If they win this Chiefs game, that kind of makes me a little bit nervous, because I did say that the Texans would finish second in the I didn't see the Colts coming. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't think anybody saw the Colts coming, but basically, right now, I know we got 2 victories. We got to win this week, and if we win this week, this firmly puts us in a strong position as long as the Jags don't implode. And that's just what it comes down to. You can't let Jonathan Taylor Thomas start eating again. We need his ass quiet. Like, that's what we need. And then, force Daniel Jones, like, bring pressure. Actually, I just thought about something. Again, we keep talking about the man with 3 last names with the Jags. Why can't I think of the linebacker's name right now? Devin Lloyd is really the reason why Devin Lloyd got back into the lineup. Jags defense been snapping again. I just need him to get back to the interceptions again so that I can win my free $10 bet.
Shador and company end up losing to the San Francisco 49ers 26-8. Shador Sanders went 16 of 25, threw for 149 yards, and had a touchdown on the day, 0 interceptions, and got sacked 3 times, losing 34 yards on the day. Quinshon Judkins led the Browns in rushing with 23 carries for 91 yards. And Harold Fandon Jr., the rookie from Bowling Green, had 3 receptions for 43 yards, and the tight end grabbed a receiving touchdown as well. The Cleveland Browns lost 2 fumbles on the day from their offensive players, and Myles Garrett managed to get a sack, adding to his sack total. So Myles Garrett now has 19 sacks, leading the NFL. But James, has been a problem for Shador, and it looks like that problem persisted during the Niners. So Shador Sanders averaged a 3.37 second time to throw versus San Francisco, the longest time to throw by a Browns QB over the last 3 seasons. The 49ers pass rush was able to generate a 36.7% pressure rate while logging 3 sacks, despite only blitzing one time. Man, that's definitely petty right there.
Wait a minute, hold on. See, this is so a lot of people were making excuses for him, right? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Shador. We always talk a lot about average time per throw, right? 2.3 seconds, 2.5 seconds if you want to round it up. They said he had how much time?
3.37. He had some throws towards the end of the game where he was holding the ball for really long, like 8+ second drives, but that's why the
Like
average is a little high, you know what I'm saying?
7-on-7, you get 4 seconds. Like on air is 4 seconds or it's a sack. So like, you know what? Again, they're like it's not, it's like against that team you shouldn't, like, man, bro, like he just doesn't know where to go with the ball, and it'll get better or it won't, but either way, whatever.
I know we're talking about Shador and the expectations he's been um, promised to fulfill, to achieve. But James, many are not expecting Bryce Young to keep doing what he's been doing because he has been balling. Bryce Young and company defeated the LA Rams 31-28 in this down to the wire victory for Bryce Young and company. So huge shout out to Bryce Young. And let's take a look at his number when he was trailing the Rams. So when they were trailing versus the Rams, Bryce Young went 8 for 10, threw for 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and had a perfect 158.3 passer rating. So Bryce Young is the youngest player in NFL history with 11 game-winning drives with his age of 24 years and 128 days. He beat out Josh Allen and Peyton Manning for the youngest player in NFL history with 11 game-winning drives. So Matthew Stafford, his interception ends in a run of 28. Matthew Stafford's interception ends a 28 consecutive touchdown pass run without an interception, passing Tom Brady's 25 straight in 2010. The streak ends as the longest interception-free touchdown streak on record since play-by-play data began in 1978. So let's take a look at this box score. Bryce Young, 15-20, 206 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. Got sacked twice, losing
Accurate.
12 yards. Very accurate. Matthew Stafford, 18-28, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he matched his season career interception record during this game. Matt Stafford previously threw 2 interceptions coming into this game, and he matched his season interception stat in this game alone. So he has 4 interceptions on the year. Blake Corum had a rushing touchdown, and Kyron Williams had a rushing touchdown as well. Jalen Coker had a receiving touchdown for the Panthers. T-Mac Tetero McMillan had a 1-catch, 43-yard touchdown for the Panthers, and Chuba Hubbard had a reception touchdown as well. Your boy, James Xavier Leggett, at the bottom of the receiving.
Cool, man, you know? Hey, damn, boy. Come on,
catch,
bro. Okay.
1
He hit the
yard.
yards, 1 catch, 1 for 1, 2 targets. Yep. Hey, he not getting that 50-year extension.
Braden Fisk, shout out to him. He got a sack on the day. He had 6 total tackles and 3 of them were solo. He also had 2 tackles for loss and 1 QB hit. Shout out to the NIL. Shout out to the NIL Jared Verts as well. 4 total tackles, 3 of them were solo on the day as well. And Lathan Ransom, the rookie, getting some bump for the Carolina defense, leading the team in total tackles. He did go to Ohio State, 11 total tackles. And our boy Tits for Fitz, James, he's getting some bump. 1 total tackle, 1 solo. Kicker doing some damage out there. Shout out to Ryan Fitzgerald as well. But James, are the Panthers legit, man? They knocked off the Rams. Nobody was thinking this would happen. Just want to give you the betting odds and before this game kicked off. So for the let me see, it doesn't say that on ESPN. But anyways, James, I know you're surprised to see the Panthers pull out this W. So are they the truth? Are they legit in the NFC South?
I mean, yeah, I think they are legit. I think the AFC South is up for grabs. I think they're kind of topsy turvy, like up and down, because they lack consistency. But I think that they're going to be fine. Yeah.
Huge shout out to Bryce Young, definitely.
Yeah,
accurate.
my guy, definitely. I didn't know that's who that was, but yeah, he definitely told me that Ball was going to look like Ricky Williams. Definitely said that shit. That motherfucker, shit. that motherfucker still running. It's like, hey, Miles, put the arrow over the eye so I can see what the breakdown is. God damn. Yeah. Man, bro, the football games be looking lit, dog. That should be funny, dog. I got it. I think we'll get 1,000 if we do the Reigns game. We had 717 watching the football game live. We had about 2,000 across all platforms. Yeah, so 350 on 717 on YouTube at this peak. 350 on Twitter, man. Fuck you guys, man. Like dog, y'all just don't. I'm sorry, Jaden, for interrupt you. They just don't understand how much better life would be if we could just get them watching over here. And I know if I don't put it on Twitter, they're not gonna watch. So while I can still count it, I just need you guys to just. It's cool. You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it on the TV, which actually YouTube does give you the analytics of who's watching it on the TV and who's watching it on phone apps. So technically, you watching it on TV, you're letting other people watch, so you're robbing my views. But it's all good. Just I'm not gonna complain. It's Monday. Got a lot going on. Jags are winning. It's just we are 65 away though. 65 people away from our next from the 7,000, which we've been there for a long time. So like right now, if 65 of you on Twitter would just come over and just push the subscribe button, Wednesday's show would be lit. I put the link up there. Yeah, every show. I put it in the comments. Just click it. I try to make it so much easier for them. But they just want they're content with what they do. And it definitely is, man. But my bad, Jaden.
Recapping another game, the Bills defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 26-7. Josh Allen, 15 of 23, 123 yards on the day, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he got a rushing touchdown as well. He had 8 carries for 38 yards and a rushing touchdown. James Cook had 32 carries for 144 yards, but did not get a rushing touchdown on the day. Ray Davis had 9 carries for 62 yards on the day as well. And James, Keon Coleman, 2 receptions, 9 yards, and He got a receiving touchdown on the day. Keon
Say my son's stats again.
2 receptions, 9 yards, 3 targets, and a
See, it
receiving
sounds like
touchdown.
it's not a lot, but have you seen how the Bills been playing when they've been treating my son bad?
Right.
He gets back in the game, and all of a sudden, Josh Allen is like snapping. Stop treating my jet like Marshawn Lynch, man. You've already made that mistake before, man. Just, hey, it's cold up there. He a Southern boy. We get cold, we get sleepy. And so, like, it's tough. Like, he's just trying to adapt, man. That's all. Let that boy live.
Aaron Rodgers got banged up during this game. He had 10 completions out of 27 attempts for 117 yards on the day. And Twitter fans wasted no time saying Aaron Rodgers looks like he tried to rob Kevin McAllister's house, a Home Alone reference for this holiday time, for this holiday season. And they even photoshopped his face next to the other burglar right here. Shout out to the internet, but Aaron Rodgers did get banged up during this game. And let's take a look at James Cook's carry chart right here. So the Bills called a run on 63.5% of their plays, their 4th highest rate in a game since drafting Josh Allen in 2018. And Cook gained 130 yards on under center runs, the 6th most of any player in a game this season. You can see right here, he actually had a fumble loss on the day, no rushing touchdown. You can see the colors associated with the amount of yards he gained on the run. And with Josh Allen's rushing touchdown in this game, Josh Allen officially has the most rushing touchdowns for a quarterback in NFL history. He beat out Cam Newton with his rushing touchdown against the Steelers with 76 total rushing touchdowns. Cam Newton has 75, but Jalen Hurts is 3rd on this list with 61 rushing touchdowns. So congratulations to Josh Allen on getting this historic statistic added to your resume. Shout out to Josh Allen, man. Shout out to Josh Allen. So we have the Sunday night football game to discuss. Got some quick posts to get through for you guys. So the Broncos faced off against the Washington Commanders, and it resulted in a close down to the wire game. This game actually went into overtime, and the Broncos came out on top. Broncos are now 10-2 with this victory over the Jaden Daniels-less Commanders. Marcus Mariota was stepping in as the starting quarterback. And this was the kind of rundown of the game. So Commanders forced overtime. Broncos scored 3 minutes into overtime. Broncos intercept Mariota on 4th down, but get called for pass interference. Commanders score to tie it, but get called for holding. Commanders then convert on 3rd and 14 on the play after. The Commanders score with Terry McLaurin, and the Commanders go for 2, and Nick Bonito denies Mariota's pass attempt to get the W. So, man, definitely down to the wire game for your Sunday night matchup. And this is Scary Terry's route chart as well. So he caught 3 of 8 targets for 30 yards when covered by Pat Surtain II, but his final reception was an overtime touchdown. Surtain had not allowed a touchdown on his last 507 coverage snaps dating back to week 13 of 2024. See, the routes are with the white lines, and his yak is the yards after the catch, and that's represented by the green lines as well. So just want to share that with you guys. And yeah, what a game that happened last night between the Broncos and Commanders. So I want to read you some notable statistics from this game, share them with you. Bo Nix, 29 of 45, 321 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked 1 time. Marcus Mariota, had 50 attempts, and he had 28 completions, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, got sacked twice. losing 18 yards. RJ Harvey, 13 carries, 35 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Chris Rodriguez Jr. had a rushing touchdown with 11 carries for 41 yards. But Marcus Mariota led his squad in rushing yards. Zach Ertz led the Washington receiving corps with 106 yards. Didn't get a receiving touchdown, but Terry McLaurin got a receiving touchdown. And Traylon Burks had arguably the catch of the year. He had an amazing OBJ-like one-hand touchdown catch. That was super, super nice if you didn't get a chance to see it. And Cortland Sutton scored for the receivers for the Denver Broncos. But former Jag James Evan Ingram led the Broncos in receiving with 6 receptions for 79 yards. Just wanted to give you guys an update on the Sunday night football game that occurred between the Broncos and the Commanders, but some games that we didn't get to cover, but wanted to tell you all the scores would be the Saints and Dolphins. Dolphins beat them 21-17. Falcons and Jets. Jets beat the Falcons 27-24 down to the wire game. Buccaneers barely scraped by the Cardinals 20-17. Vikings had a shutout loss against the Seahawks 0-26, and the Chargers beat the Raiders 31-14. Whew. Those were your games, and we're finally at our big games BS section for today, where we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world. So we have our BS or bussin' food review segment to get through, and today we got a sweet treat for you. James, I don't know if you like cinnamon rolls, and I don't know if you like tiramisu, but this person made tiramisu cinnamon rolls, and it looks pretty good. But
Tiramisu is like the coffee dessert, right? The Jewish thing.
I have no.
no, it's I think it's Italian, and I think it's not coffee. I think it's toffee. Let me actually look it up. Tiramisu is an Italian dessert. Oh no, you're right. Made with coffee soaked ladyfingers, covered with the cream of egg yolks, sugar, and mascarpone, and topped with cocoa powder.
Okay, this might actually be pretty good. I like drinking coffee with a cinnamon roll. So
everybody,
let's
let us
roll with it.
know if you're gonna give this a BS or a bussin' in the chat. It's some background music, so I'm gonna mute it, and we're gonna see what James thinks.
Why are we fisting the dough? Is that supposed to be cinnamon?
Yeah.
That's some real dark cinnamon. All right. Okay. Real traditional right here. Okay, so they're soaking it. Okay, so I see it. Okay. Nah. I was thinking something different.
I got. Oh.
Like I was
Wow.
thinking like they're still gonna give me all the elements of like a cinnamon cinnamon roll.
It still has it. Frosting.
There was no the frosting was the tiramisu stuff. So like if they would have like soaked it and then put the cinnamon frosting on it, like that looked like whipped cream that they put on top of it. That wasn't no like. Maybe that don't look like no real. And then I don't want the cocoa. I don't want the cocoa on it. So
just a little bit less.
I'm gonna say, dog, if I'm gonna have to be, if my diabetes is gonna fuck up and I'm gonna be pissing all day, I want it to be enjoyable, all the way enjoyable. So for those who don't know, that's the other thing, it does look a little dry, which is wild that it looks dry with the moisture. You know, one of the ways with diabetes is like how your body passes the sugar out of you is you just pee. I drink a ton of water, so I'm already doing that anyway, but like that ain't worth it. I got to detox my body anyway from what I did this weekend, and I still apparently got to get with my sister to get this red velvet cake that she got. So yeah, I'm good on that, brother.
To close out Monday's show, we have a YN Wyland segment to get through. In this, goes to none other than James's favorite Sanders son, Shiloh Sanders. So he was joking with his brother Shador at the Thanksgiving dinner table. And let's just say Shiloh did not disappoint with his humor.
It's muted, Jada. That whatchamacallit? The that window is muted. You hear me?
What'd you say?
That window is muted. So like it's playing, but it's just you gotta unmute that window or do whatever the thing is that y'all be doing when y'all change stuff.
All right, I'm gonna try again. Let's see.
All right, it doesn't look. It's not muted now, so we should be good.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna play it from the top.
Look at him studying his plays and whatnot before his big game. What a good boy. Studying your plays so Coach Stefanski don't get mad. Stefanski, I even study my plays on Thanksgiving.
No, we own it. We don't have to pay for it. We own it.
Well, ask this guy right here. He's the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. You talking about me? That's only 1 week. All right, God is great. Thank you for letting Shador start finally. We appreciate it. Please help him this Sunday. Throw for 500 passing yards. So both
the wins is really important. The win.
Well, we want your passing yards.
Just to win.
Yeah.
Running some touchdowns.
Yeah.
The
So
win.
Just two.
The win.
we can win and get my parlays. Right. I'm just playing. I don't bet on these. God, thank you for allowing my mom to cook today and really put her
Wait a minute, hold up.
in the collard greens today because they're really good. They look great. Lord, please allow Shador to do his best so he can pull some strings and get me on the Browns too. And please make number 21 available somehow. But
what is this award? It's the franchise player. 21 gone, bro.
Well, never mind. 28 will do.
I like how Shiloh still eat like a puppy. Like, you know, like when I was young, I used to tear Thanksgiving up. I couldn't eat like that once I got to college.
Kind of big though. He looked like Shador couldn't bully him when they were growing up.
Yeah. But like, can we go back to that, Jaden? Because I want to like, all right, I've read the divorce stuff and like, I know things happen with adults, right? But are we all in agreement that it was Dion's fault now? Like, look at her and then look at them plates. Like, that's like, and I'm sure it tastes good. Like, you're not supposed to be able to do all of that, right? Like, it's got to be something. Like, there's got to be something wrong with her. You can't be pretty, light skinned. Even I'm just joking because that's what everybody likes. I actually don't. I like melon. I like my coffee black. But you got like that looks amazing. And babyface wife left him. And now he went and got, well, she's technically, I guess you can't be, she got Carucci now? I'm just saying, Dion it's something wrong with Dion too, dog. Like, now I want Thanksgiving food all over again. I thought I was done eating leftovers. I'm about to go put some of that damn, get that dressing in some man, that cranberry sauce is so fire. Okay. Yeah, this Renee better make that cranberry sauce for Christmas. But yeah, man. I love, like, to be honest with you, give me the Shiloh content, Jaden. Anytime Shiloh got something up there, I want to watch it. If we can't put it on the show, just anybody who's listening to this, everybody thinks I hate Dion, and you're right. But it's not for why y'all think I should hate Dion. It's a fraternal thing. I just don't think Shador is a very good quarterback, but I'm rooting for him, right? Actually, matter of fact, what y'all think I think about, actually, what I say about Trevor, if I said that about Shador, they probably try to kill me. I'm here for everything Shiloh represents. I'm a big old Shiloh fan. But he got women that can cook and pretty, and he done, man, yeah, it's something wrong with him. Like, he might get pegged or something. I don't know. He get too weird. All right, Jaden, how's the skate station going, baby? When we gonna have a skate party, a Dim Media Group skate party?
I'm working
got
on
the mayor and stuff, shouting y'all out, man. It's doing big time stuff.
Working on the details right now, but definitely be filling you in with some information as it's coming in. For sure.
I can't skate and I'm afraid to fall. So I'll be, do y'all have arcades and do y'all have the cool stuff, like cool tables on the side?
In the new one, we don't have that yet, but in the one in Arlington, there's arcade games. And
wait a minute. How many skate stations you got?
There's the one in Arlington, that's one, and then there's the new one.
Where's the new one?
Off the Lim Turner. That's the one you saw.
That's the one. So y'all have already had one that's been rocking.
Yeah.
Or did you just purchase and it came with two?
No, the one was the one in Arlington was older. Yeah, it's been around for a little minute.
But y'all have owned that for a long time, or is that still recent?
I would say it's been a little under 10 years.
So you've had a skating park for 10 years and I didn't know about this?
I don't have anything.
Your people have had a skating park for 10 years. Your mom corrected us when I said, this is Jaden people. And she said Jaden's a part of it. So you've had a skating thing for 10 years and we didn't know about this?
Well, I'm a L Mans then. I'm a L Mans.
Damn, bro. All right, so which one we going to? The new one or the old one?
Yeah, the new one. That's the one. But you probably saw. That's the one you saw the mayor in that. The ribbon cutting ceremony. So that's the one on the north side. So that's 9441 Lim Turner Road. I think that's the address. That's the right address.
They used to have a crabs place off of Lim Turner. That was kind of fire. I don't know if it's still
9441.
All right, well, we gotta have an adult skate thing or something. I don't know how it's gonna work with my schedule in the first quarter, but we're gonna figure that out. But shoot, have a Jags win after party, Jags playoff win after party. but cool. You got anything else?
That's all I had for the notes today. Any last words to the fans as we close out Monday show?
Now, just check out the content that we have that we're pushing out, man. Make sure you guys go support all of the different things that support us. Make sure you go jam the like button and subscribe. We're 65 subscribers away from 7,000. Let's make sure we're doing that. Getting people tell a friend to tell a friend. Any content that you're interested in 2026, make sure you let us know so we can try to do a content mapping thing. ChatGPT is kind of fire with that, especially if you're organized. We will be streaming games this week. We'll be streaming games next week as well. Outside of that, appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me, and we will see you guys next time.